President Emmanuel Macron becomes the second French president to visit Rwanda after the 1994 genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi in the country, and his visit comes after both countries issued reports on France's role in that genocide. After his arrival at the Kigali International Airport, the French president was received at Village Urugwiro by his Rwandan counterpart, and after which he went to the Kigali Genocide Memorial to pay his respects at the graves of the more than 250,000 victims of the genocide against the Tutsi buried there. Following that, President Macron and his delegation returned to Village Urugwiro, where discussions on bilateral cooperation were held, focusing on sectors like health, the environment, ICT, culture and investment. Agreements were signed to this end, with the French Foreign Affairs Minister representing his country and Rwanda represented by her Ministers of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, as well as Finance and Economic Planning. A press conference was then held, during which President Macron was asked a question about the history of Rwanda's genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi 27 years ago, and those who claim that there were two genocides.
Merci pour votre question. Je vais être
Thank you for your question, but I was very clear. I believe those who claim two genocides are fabricating things. There was one genocide, and this morning we spoke about it, calling it by its proper name. Yes, there was a civil war, but there was one genocide. President Paul Kagame has commended the French president's decision.
Despite some loud noises and voices, President Macron took this step. Politically and morally, this was an act of tremendous courage. These risks paid off because there was good faith on both sides. It was important not to rush the process. The facts had to be properly established. Our respective societies also needed the chance to debate and deliberate. One step led to another. And that is how we got to this point, which is itself another step, and a major one.
The Rwandan head of state also commented on progress the two countries have been making when it comes to mending their relations. What I can say is that Rwandans are able to follow that progress because they are well informed about our efforts. However, I must note that significant progress has been made in this respect. Certainly an issue as complicated as this cannot be resolved at a rate of 100% so that everybody sees eye to eye. But that cannot stop people from making progress. That progress is being made based on truth, and I believe that truth became evident in what was said and done. That truth helps people to understand the gravity of the problems that face them and to continue to make progress despite the seriousness of the gravity of such problems. I believe we as Rwandans have achieved a lot as a people, but I also believe much more is achieved through cooperation with other nations like France. Today, the President of France has visited us, and his coming is linked to that history. What was said has been said publicly, and I believe it will help us as Rwandans to take a big step forward. That is what I have to say to all Rwandans. On his part, President Macron noted that France has in recent years taken a different approach when it comes to relations with Africa, and that he is confident that the progress his country has made when it comes to reviving bilateral relations with Rwanda will not backslide.
Je veux croire aujourd'hui que ce rapprochement est irréversible.
I believe that the progress made today is irreversible. There are numerous reasons for this, and the first is because both sides are willing to start a new chapter in relations in which Africa's leaders and their people take their proper place. In the last 4 years, whenever conflict has arisen in a given region, we have supported dialogue through the mediation of the African Union. In the last 4 years, not once has France tried to teach a lesson to anyone.
La France n'a jamais donné de leçon à qui que ce soit depuis 4 ans.
Again, the French president was commended for his new approach to dealing with other countries.
President Macron is someone who listens, and he is committed to supporting Africa based on what Africa itself has chosen. This is different. It is better, and it can last. Fundamentally, this visit is about the future, not the past. France and Rwanda are going to relate much better to the benefit of both our peoples. We wish to form a strong and sustainable relationship based on priorities that matter to both Rwanda and France.
France has also decided to donate up to 100,000 COVID-19 vaccines in Rwanda's fight against the virus, and the French nation has reaffirmed its commitment to helping the continent as a whole to defeat the pandemic.